Hi everyone, my name is Zama Mashile, and over the years I've seen that really life has different seasons. Life is not made up of just the good times, nor is it made up of just the bad times. The hard times in our lives actually make us stronger. They help us to build character. They're difficult, they're painful, but they really also make us treasure and enjoy the seasons that are not as hard and the seasons of laughter and fun. And although it's difficult, but I'm grateful that there is different seasons in life because there's a benefit, but yeah, the hard ones are hard. My season of waiting was a season of waiting for a baby, waiting to have children. When we were married, we decided we would wait for a year and not have children and have time for each other and just enjoy that time together. And thereafter, we began family planning. That season of waiting didn't start off with too much anxiety because, initially you think, okay, we're waiting, we're just starting to plan to have a family and all of that. And as the waiting grew longer, it was more difficult to try and understand what was happening. You go for tests and you get given a clean bill of health. And when you've got that clean bill of health and you're waiting to have a baby, there's those questions in the back of your mind. When will it happen? When the process started and I was pregnant, then miscarried, and then that wasn't the only time I miscarried. It was very difficult because it made me wonder, what was the will of God? What was God saying? What was God doing in the midst of all of it? You hold on to life. You almost want to hold on to the baby literally, but you know that you can't, and only God can hold a life in the womb, and it can be so overwhelming. And sometimes I felt helpless because I knew that all I could do was just rely on God. With waiting to have children, there's a lot that people say. There's a lot that people ask, family will ask, when are you having children? Friends will be checking, okay, what are your plans? When are you guys starting a family? So questions like that became difficult, especially because with my first miscarriage, I miscarried at a point of the pregnancy where I was very visibly pregnant, and that was heartbreaking. It was a season that I couldn't hide. It was a season that because I had shown that I was pregnant and miscarried, everybody knew. And it's so difficult because you can see everybody else's disappointment and you feel your own disappointment. And so it can just lead to a lot of, for me, it was very negative. I felt small. I felt like everybody could see my shame. I felt like there was something wrong with me. Life was difficult. I was hopeful. We were newly married. We were still in our second year of marriage, but it was difficult because now we've got these uncertainties. There's a different level of anxiety about now having children, which was supposed to be exciting. And so many people seem to have it look like a carefree, seamless experience. And for us, it wasn't going that way. So it was a very difficult time waiting and longing to not only carry life, but see that person being born and hold them one day. There's a lot of stigma around infertility and miscarriages. In society, there's a view that you must have children, and it's as if having children is in your control, either as a man or a woman, as a couple, whereas I've realized through this journey of my own miscarriages that it's actually not in my control. Yes, I can take care of my body and give my body the best that I can in terms of health-wise, but it's actually not in my control. People say different things, and there's questions that can be belittling, and they can make you feel that you failed, and society makes us feel that as a woman, if you haven't been able to bear your husband children, you failed as a wife, you failed the family, whatever it is. But people say these things and without the understanding that it's actually not in my control. And I think the best way that I saw from friends and family offering support was those that were aware of what was happening when I miscarried. They acknowledged my situation. They were there, they knew what happened, but they also didn't then pity me. Yes, they felt sorry for me, but they didn't change from the way they treated me. They were still loving me, they were still there for me, but they didn't dwell on that. And that wasn't the only thing in our lives. So for me, I think showing support is, yes, definitely acknowledging the situation, but not showing pity, not looking down on the person who's had a miscarriage or suffering a period of infertility, because it's actually beyond their control, and it's a period where they need to know that there's more to them than just having children, than just falling pregnant, because there's more to life, there's more to walking with your partner than just having children. When it comes to miscarriage and infertility, it's so sensitive, because not only is it waiting for something that you would physically have, which is in the form of a baby, but you're dealing with your own pain. You're dealing with the physical pain that happens if you have a miscarriage. You're dealing with the emotional and the mental pain. And not only that, you're also dealing with the strain that this can put on your relationship with your partner. My husband and I had many times where we cried together, many times where we would sit and talk about what was happening in our lives, because we best understood what was happening for both of us. And it's such a sensitive period, because both of you are also experiencing different emotions at different times, and you need to be sensitive and aware of the fact that you're both experiencing this loss or this infertility together. Because the season of infertility or miscarriage or waiting for a baby is so personal, it's a season where personally I had to really draw closer to God. I had to really go further and deeper into knowing who I am, why are we in a relationship. My husband and I had to go into all of those things to find the strength to carry on, to realize that as much as we wanted to have children and we look forward to it and we believe it and we're praying for it, but we drew strength from knowing that our marriage was not just founded on that. Our marriage was a union of two people that love each other and believe that we're there in our lives, in each other's lives, to support each other and help each other be the best that we can in our lives. So we needed to show up every day. We drew strength in prayer. We drew strength from one another, and we drew strength from friends and family around us. But it also really came back to that personal effort of saying, we are more than this. And we also had to do that as individuals every day, showing up to our lives, showing up for each other, showing up for the rest of our families and our careers as well. Infertility and miscarriage affect both partners. It affects the wife and the husband. For my husband and I, it was so clear because he was there. He was there when I miscarried. He was there. He was the one driving me to the hospital. He witnessed my pain. And yes, I felt the physical pain. I went through it in terms of my body, but the emotional scars, the mental scars, even the spiritual journey of grappling with what is happening, our relationship with God was something that we shared. So my husband had his pain. It was different to my pain, but it was pain nonetheless. And we had a process of grieving. And I was so grateful for the fact that our church introduced us to Grief Share. And that was a process for us that we would watch videos and we would talk about different questions around loss, around grief, and that helped both of us to express our grief, to express that it's different to what the other person is feeling, but it's still very significant. So husbands, your role is very, very important. As a partner, your partner needs your support, but also it's important to know that your pain and your grief is real and needs to be dealt with as well. So in my journey of waiting to have a child or waiting to have a baby, there was a period where in 1 year I had 3 miscarriages. It was a difficult year. It put a lot of strain on us emotionally. As a couple, it was strenuous, financially, trying to obviously pay medical bills in between, getting the necessary supplements and medications in the recovery period. It was very strenuous. But after that, we decided to take a break. Yes, we still wanted to have children, but my husband and I decided to take a break. We decided to spend as much time as we could focusing on our relationship. We went on holiday, we had fun together, we focused on the things that we enjoyed rather than focusing solely on trying to have babies. And I went back on contraceptives and we didn't tell anyone really, but it was important for us to take that time and focus on our marriage. Waiting to have a baby, the season of infertility and miscarriage is a difficult season. It's a season where the pain is personal, and no two people who go through miscarriage and infertility have exactly the same story. And I think it's a time that I have learned to understand and accept and embrace individuality and know that it is your own story, and as God is with you and writing your personal story, for me it was important to remember that He is a God who cares about me. He is a God who cares about my pain, and it's not a pain that I need to hide from Him. It's not a pain that I need to keep from Him and be ashamed of what I'm going through. Actually, it's a time to draw closer. I remember the story of Hannah in the Bible, and she prayed. The Bible says that she prayed and cried out to God. And I think my story feels like I did that a lot of times, not just once. But I was grateful that in the end, I went through that pain and God heard my prayer. And by His grace, today I have 2 children. Both of them were carried until full term. It was something unexpected. It was challenging at times. It was nerve-wracking at times because I had been through negative experiences. But I saw God come through for me, and I know that He can do it for everyone and for anyone.